Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Expert, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. My name is Jess and we do these live streams every single weekday. So please make sure to like, subscribe and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We're a little bit early this morning. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Please don't forget to like today's stream. We have seen Bitcoin move to the upside slightly within 24 hours. Here we are up 1.8%, and for Ethereum we are looking like we are up 1.5% within the last 24 hours. So nice moves here, but we have seen some altcoins move even higher, with Solana up 4.6% within the last 24 hours. We've got Chainlink up 15% within the last 24 hours. Now we all know here that I'm a huge Chainlink fan, so that is a nice big move there. We've got ICP up 8.3% and Elrond up 6.6% as well. I'm sure a lot of the CRC team will be happy with that. A lot of the CRC team holds a lot of Elrond. I personally don't hold any Elrond, but let's see how that's performing. In fact, let's click on this and see what's going on. So Elrond up 6.7%. If we take a look at the chart, if this will load, my internet is being incredibly slow this morning, and as you can imagine with streaming as well, it's not the best. But what we can see here on the hourly chart is it's had a huge nice move to the upside there. It did experience a little bit of a dip, but it's made those gains back up again after it dipped following at the start of yesterday essentially. So we've seen a nice reversal pattern there, and Elrond's got back up to its higher prices. If we take a look at the daily chart, you can see it has been a lot higher at December 2023. It did reach $78. It's now trading at $55, but it's seeing some nice supports, building some nice supports, and that's really important to see. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Spud. Thank you very much for tuning in, as always. For some reason, I can't see any information about today's stream on YouTube about the likes or the views, so fingers crossed we're getting loads of views and getting loads of likes. That's the important thing. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's take a look at what's going on the Bitcoin chart now, though, because some altcoins have been performing very well within the last 24 hours, and I want to dive into this a little bit more. So if we take a look at what's happened for Bitcoin, let's once again remove that line, you can see we have retested this important zone of support that we've been highlighting here on the channel. This ranges from between $42,000 to $40,800. We have retested that once again. We have used that as a zone of support, and we are now seeing if it will continue to hold enough to let us break through that level of resistance. But we've been talking about this a lot on the stream. If we look at what happened at this period of time here, between this zone and the $44,200 level is actually a price range that we held for a month back in the November, December. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see ourselves within this price range for the next couple of weeks. And that's what I'm really preparing for here for Bitcoin. Now, something I highlight on the stream a lot is in the 4-year cycles for Bitcoin, if you are zooming really far out and looking at what's going on in the market, typically at the start of a bull market, Bitcoin performs the best. Then it's high cap coins, then it's mid cap coins, then it's low cap coins. Right now what's happening is Bitcoin's performed incredibly well. If you take a look at the Bitcoin Ethereum chart, Bitcoin has been outperforming Ethereum for a very long period of time. We are now months before that Bitcoin halving, and if you take a look at what's happened previously in the months prior to a Bitcoin halving, this starts to reverse typically, and we have previously seen Ethereum now at around this sort of time start to outperform Bitcoin and start to see those high caps take some of the bigger profits in the market. So if we take a look at what's going on for Bitcoin here, if Bitcoin were to continue with this sideways action, and we do see this reversal on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart as expected, a couple of months prior to the Bitcoin halving, we could really see some high cap altcoins performing really well as Bitcoin sees this kind of sideways action slash maybe potential some downwards momentum on the run up to that Bitcoin halving. So as I've said numerous times, I think personally, my limits for Bitcoin right now, we have a support $34,000. I think if we touch that, we wick down incredibly quickly, but I imagine there'll be a huge amount of buyers at that zone. And I think that upper resistance we have is at $50,000 prior to that Bitcoin halving. I think that's the zone we are going to stay in. Obviously, there is room for some downwards momentum within those price targets. We could see some sideways action slash kind of downwards action for Bitcoin. And with that, it may pull some altcoins down from time to time. If Bitcoin dumps dramatically, some altcoins will dump dramatically as well. But overall, if Bitcoin's seeing some sideways action and we start to see that reversal on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, some altcoins could be performing really well and actually starting to outperform Bitcoin. So that's what I'm taking a look at now. And I think that's what's something that's really interesting at this point in the market. Before we continue, please don't forget to, I've got something on my camera. I was thinking, what is that piece of hair sticking out or something on the wall? It's on the camera. Before we continue, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, and I would appreciate it if you hit that bell notification button so you didn't miss out on the latest updates here. As I said, I don't know what's happening with YouTube this morning, but I can't see the amount of views on the stream, the amount of likes on the stream. So please make sure to hit like and that bell notification button, and I'll have to check it out after today's stream. Thank you very much for tuning in as always. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Brandon E, good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for tuning in, and Jonathan there as well. Monkey Nuts and Web3 Spud all in the chat today. Let's take a look at what is going on for Bitcoin right now. So what we've got here is Bitcoin halving is in exactly 75 days, 17 hours, 44 minutes, and 2 seconds right now. We are waiting for that Bitcoin halving when the inflation rate for Bitcoin is halved and we get even closer to the day when that supply crunch arrives and Bitcoin absolutely skyrockets in price. Fingers crossed. Let's take a look at what's going on in the monthly returns for February previously with Bitcoin. It is typically a bullish month for Bitcoin, so looking positive here, although some of these green, if you look at this, let's see if it loads. As I said, my internet is very slow today. Some of these months maybe not like 0.4% profit, 0.03%, not always super bullish, but as long as it's green, we don't mind. As long as it's green, that's fine. Let's take a look at some liquidation points here. So points where this chart goes incredibly yellow, that is a price point where if Bitcoin were to reach that range, a huge amount of traders would get liquidated. Now, we all know Bitcoin takes the path of most pain. So if there's a huge yellow line up here, this is acting essentially like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. Now, if we take a look at this is currently at the $43,820 level. If we take a look at that, I think this is a pretty achievable price point to hit right now. If we take a look at the lower side, we're looking at 41,000. It's not super strong though. I think if we're looking for super strong ones, we need to look at the 3-month chart, because this is where we see that dreaded $34,000 price. In fact, is it there? Has it gone? Let's take a look. Let's see what's on the 6-month chart. Let's see if we can pull this up. So we've got a liquidation level at $34,000, but do you know what? It looks like it's weakening. Maybe these traders have started to take profit and there's less of a crucial liquidation point at that price point. It doesn't look too strong. If we take a look at that 3-month chart here, you can see that the $34,000 level, which is around here, it's not that strong there. It doesn't look like a huge magnet anymore. Pretty interesting. If we go back into the 3-day chart there, you can see that clearly we have a liquidation point up here. Maybe this is a signal that we will get some nice bullish movements over the weekend. It is Friday, so we do need to talk about the CME gap and we need to talk about weekend price action. So first of all, let's take a look at what is going on the CME, how this all works. So if you go to TradingView and you type in BTC1 exclamation mark, you will be able to see the Bitcoin CME chart. Now, this is a chart from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. This is operational every Monday to Friday, and when they are not operational, they just press pause on their Bitcoin chart. So what happens is we just have a massive gap in the chart. For example, here, Friday, the 10th of June, 2022, the markets closed, that CME closed when Bitcoin was at a price of $28,850. And then on the Monday, when it opened up again, Bitcoin was trading at $27,380 because obviously Bitcoin is 24/7. So it moved down over the weekend. And that creates just a gap on the chart because they just start wherever Bitcoin is and end wherever Bitcoin is and just leave that gap on the chart. But this gap acts like a magnet for the Bitcoin price until it is filled. Now, to fill a CME gap, we want to see price action within the gap's price range after the gap was created. So if we take a look here, there's a gap here, and this wasn't filled until around this point here when we saw price action within that range. If we draw some horizontal lines, you can see clearly this was the magnet there because we were to the downside, and then we saw price action within that range, and that gap was filled and no longer acts like a magnet for the Bitcoin price. Now if we zoom into more recent times, you can see we do have some gaps that have not been filled. One from back in March 2023 down at $20,350. We did have one here at $39,750. This was filled recently with that recent pullback to the downside. So right now, not a huge amount to be concerned about here with this $20,350 level. I personally would be very surprised if we were to fill this. But what we can see is it is now Friday. The CME will close again tonight, and we may see a new gap be created. Now, why is this important? Bitcoin's gaps typically, if you look at the probability of this, it's really high, typically get filled within the first couple of days of the following week. So if we create a gap this weekend, it is likely, but not definite, likely that that gap will be filled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So we can look at that, and it can help us better understand what's in store for the following week. So make sure to tune in on Monday, and we will go over the CME gap if there is one, and we will discuss the likelihood of closing that and what that potentially means for the price of Bitcoin. So make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and tune in on Monday to see more about that. If we take a look at what's going on in the chat, Ryan B says, best daily news show going around. And Jonathan says, it's because people have been watching your live streams, Jess. That's why the $34,000 liquidations have disappeared. Bullish. It must be. It must be at this point in time. Thank you very much for all the compliments in the chat. Brandon E says, so smart, Jess. My ego is going to be absolutely huge after today's stream. Thank you very much for all of those compliments. Let's see what's going on in the cryptocurrency news today, because that's what we're all here for, and that's what we all want to know. But do not forget to hit that like button there. Very much appreciate it. Let's see what's going on here. So first news article of the day, $28,000 to $53 million in 3 days. This is how this is how this trader made this fortune. Let's take a look at this. That's an insane investment trace there. So on Friday, Look On Chain posted about the recent come up of Pepe Fork Pork and how one trader made tens of millions of dollars on the meme coin. So 4 fresh wallets spent 12 Ethereum, which were $28,000, to buy a certain amount of pork at 24.65% of the total supply. So a huge amount there. And the blockchain analyst account stated this. And then Look On Chain identified the following 4 addresses are owned by the same individual. And what we saw here was a 1,800x return. Now this is absolutely insane. We see this all the time. Like, there's huge amounts of opportunities when it comes to meme coins, but I just don't understand it. I just don't get it, because if I invested, let's see how much they initially put in. If I invested $28,000 into a meme coin that has no underlying value, and that investment went up to $50,000, I'm selling. Or if it went up to $100,000, I'm selling. If it goes up to $500,000, I'm selling. I just don't quite fathom how these traders buy these assets for $28,000 and manage to hold on to it until it's done a 1,800x. It just does not make sense in my brain how you can be so confident in a meme coin, and how you can even be so confident in the first place to pick one and throw $28,000 at it. It's absolutely insane amounts of money here. So they managed to turn $28,000 to $53 million. Same again, $1 million, surely you're selling. $2 million, surely you're selling. How do you have the diamond hands to hold on to a meme coin for $53 million? It does not make sense to me unless you've just completely forgot about your investment and looked back and it's suddenly $53 million. It's incredible that people managed to do this, but it seems so incredibly degen. It seems so incredibly like, you are really an awful trader and you've got lucky. I don't understand how you can have the diamond hands this much. It doesn't make sense in my brain. But anyway, congratulations to that guy. Very, very impressive gains there. And you never need to worry about having to diamond hand anything ever again with $53 million off one trade. Jerome says maybe he forgot about it. Maybe. I feel like that's the most likely option. Being able to just continue with confidence past that's even like 50k. It's very impressive. I do not have that much confidence in my meme coin selection choices. Let's see what's going on here. Jonathan says, I made $4,000 on dog with hat on Sol in my Phantom wallet. I've seen a lot of people talking about this. Let's see what's going on here. Let's continue with the cryptocurrency news and see what else is going on here. So what we've got is Polygon Labs lays off 60 staff in streamlining efforts. So they have decided to restructure themselves and they've laid off 60 staff to reduce bureaucracy and increase productivity. Now, we've seen a lot of articles like this in the bear market a lot, and we kind of thought this was coming to the end. The markets are up, the prices are up, the projects have got a huge amount of demand back for them, but we're not really kind of seeing these articles very often, but we are still seeing them. Now, Binance do this once a year where they reshuffle, they restructure, and they make so all of their targets are in line with the work they are doing, and they're all kind of focused on the same thing. So we kind of see reshuffles like this from time to time, but it's an interesting time to start laying people off because the markets seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger and getting more and more demand, but unfortunately, we are still seeing articles like this. Let's see what else is going on in the markets here. This is a major article for the day here. So US banks on the brink again. So new NY Community Bancorp reports $260 million of loss. So let's take a look at this. The bank's stock price dropped fiercely following the news. Now, this is New York's Community Bancorp. Stock price, it fell 40% after reporting a loss of $260 million in Q4 of last year. Now, let's think back to what happened at the start of 2023. In March 2023 it was, I'm getting my words mixed up today. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. And this kind of had a domino effect on the banking industry. We're seeing a lot of the banking stocks plummet out of fear. We were seeing essentially a lot of the banks having to realize some of their unrealized losses, and this was becoming a threat to the banks. Now, while these banking stocks were decreasing, people were looking for a safe haven, and they were actually turning to Bitcoin. And this was a really interesting pivotal point for Bitcoin, in my opinion, because Bitcoin came out of the 2008 financial crisis. Bitcoin has not been around in a financial crisis before. We don't know how Bitcoin will be treated if we were to have a huge recession. What we're seeing here is the banks collapsed in 2023, and people weren't looking at Bitcoin like this really volatile asset that they were only kind of putting the ends of their money into just as kind of a bet that it would move to the upside. People were seeing Bitcoin as a safe haven, and this was super interesting and really gave us insight and a lot more confidence when it comes to Bitcoin during uncertainty in the traditional markets. And now we're seeing that uncertainty enter the markets again. So we're seeing here the creator of AMTV has said massive commercial defaults and banking collapse are coming to the stock market in 2024 and 25. A massive financial reset is about to destroy all America's wealth and middle class completely. Now, with these fears spreading and the poor financial results of NYCB, what we could see here is that fear entering the markets again. We could once again see, look, these banking stocks are moving to the downside because there's a lack of confidence there. And with that, we may once again see Bitcoin move to the upside. Now, I don't want to fully just say, look, banks going down is good for Bitcoin, because banks going down has a much bigger effect. But that we are a cryptocurrency channel at the end of the day, so we need to look at the correlation there. But we need to obviously be aware that these banks going down could be a massive problem. A financial reset could just not only destroy America's wealth and middle class completely, but actually destroy a lot of people's lives as well. It's a massive deal here, and we need to be aware of that. But let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news. Alex Bell says, Friday, Jess, rant, please. I'm sure I'll be able to think of something to rant about by the end of today's stream. If you've got any questions, drop them in the chat. Let's see what's going on here. The Argentina PM has said that his citizens will pay no tax on Bitcoin. Brilliant to see that, Jonathan. Let's see what's going on here. Monkey Dot says, hit the like button, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. We do these live streams every single weekday, and I would appreciate it if you tune in every single day and educate yourself about what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. It's super important at this time of the markets. We are 3 months away from a Bitcoin halving, and that can change the space completely. It is worth doing your research now, learning about the space now, instead of regretting not doing so in a year's time. But let's take a look at what else is going on in the cryptocurrency news here. So Core Scientific produced 19,274 Bitcoin last year after a troubled period. So the Bitcoin miner revealed its 2023 figures as it lists on the Nasdaq again. So, in January, it was announced that Core Scientific would exit bankruptcy and relist on the Nasdaq. The miner spent 13 months in bankruptcy but managed to turn the ship around and has recorded impressive figures for 2023. They produced 19,273 Bitcoin last year, and we are seeing here most of the Bitcoins were self-mined, totaling this amount here. The remaining 5,512 Bitcoins were client-produced in Core Scientific's data centers. After producing its Bitcoin figures, Core Scientific stated it was now the largest listed producer of Bitcoin in North America. The miner noted that it is prioritizing reducing downtime to a minimum and has a team dedicated to the cause. So they've said, as we continue to prioritize efficiency and excellence, we look forward to reaching new heights and shaping the future of Bitcoin mining. So they're back on the Nasdaq there, relisted, and have managed to mine a huge amount of Bitcoin last year. We are currently seeing a huge amount of articles with a little bit of fear for miners when it comes to the Bitcoin halving, because essentially what's going to happen is their income is going to be halved in April. When their 19,274 Bitcoin last year, sorry, let's say that again. Last year, this company were able to mine 19,274 Bitcoin. But if they were to do the exact same performance next year, they would only earn 9,637 Bitcoin. That was quick maths there. So we are going to see a halving here. So the amount of Bitcoin that miners earn is halved. Instead of 6.25 Bitcoin being rewarded every block, only 3.125 Bitcoin will be mined every block. So the amount of income for these miners will decrease. We've seen a lot of concerns on the news about this and whether these miners will be able to withstand that lack of income. But essentially, every single Bitcoin bull market, every single time we have these halvings, it does typically trigger a bull market. And these miners typically do survive that kind of bad storm. It's one of those things that the inflation rate is being reduced. So it's brilliant for Bitcoin investors. The Bitcoin mining companies, yes, they may struggle for a little bit of time, but if we get that Bitcoin bull market again and it pushes the price up, it doesn't matter that they're no longer getting 6.25 because the value of their 3.25 Bitcoin is higher. My camera is flashing, so let's kind of pick up the speed of today's stream. Let's see what's going on here. El Salvador to press on with Bitcoin plans. So the nation is expected to continue with Bitcoin-centered plans after the presidential election. El Salvador has made Bitcoin a legal tender. Very nice to see they are continuing with this push here and trying to drive Bitcoin adoption. It hasn't really got off the ground when it comes to everyday people using Bitcoin and using it in shops, etc. They did set up an app, kind of promote an app and allow Salvadorians, I want to say. I don't know if that's the correct way to somebody from El Salvador, Salvadorians? I don't know. It's something like that. Someone let me know in the chat. Anyway, they did set up this app where if you downloaded it, you got some free Bitcoin on it. I think it was like $10 worth or something. And people tended to use that app, spend that Bitcoin, and then haven't really touched Bitcoin since. So to see that the government is still pushing Bitcoin, driving Bitcoin adoption, and really continuing ahead with this is really important. They have been the first mover. Hopefully they will get that first mover advantage. When Bitcoin starts to pick up, it could be doing very nicely. I am going to fix my camera issue there, so just give me 1 second. Let's go back to this stream. Perfect. We are back in action now. Let's take a look at what's going on in the next article here. Jonathan says El Salvadorian sounds right. Is it? Are you having me on? Are you being sarcastic or not? I don't know. It doesn't sound right to me, but I don't know. Someone else let me know in the chat. Let's see what else is going on here in the latest cryptocurrency news. Now we're back. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Let's see what's going on here. So Jupiter airdrop farmer makes $1.17 million from 9,246 wallets. So let's take a look at this. We're seeing a lot of hype around airdrops right now. This is essentially free money in the markets. We see this a lot. So essentially projects will distribute a number of their tokens to users of their application to try and drive adoption of their application. And we're seeing a lot of excitement around airdrops right now because people are making huge amounts of money. For example, this guy who's made $1.17 million. Now, how do we do this? Well, there's lots of airdrops out there. There are also lots of airdrop scams out there, so you do need to be careful. We are talking about airdrops a lot more in the CSE Plus community Discord as well, so make sure to check that out if you are interested in the latest airdrops. Sometimes we fully have to just speculate on these things and try and use new wallets, for example, that Martini guy said, look, use your Phantom wallet a lot because there may be an airdrop coming very soon, and a lot of the CSE Plus Discord community actually managed to profit from that because he was correct. Sometimes we are speculating that the airdrops will come, and sometimes we know, look, there's an airdrop opportunity here, let's take advantage of it. So the real big opportunities here, sometimes people dismiss them because they think, oh, the effort's not worth a couple of dollars, but sometimes you can make a considerable amount of money. If you've been watching that Martini guy for a long time, you will hear him talk about his Uniswap airdrop. He managed to make like 20 grand off an airdrop for Uniswap token. Obviously, Uniswap token performed incredibly well at last bull market. So airdrops are definitely something worth considering. It's free money at the end of the day. Don't turn your nose up at it. Take a look at it. Do the work. Do the research. Join in CSE Plus Discord where we are talking about these little things a little bit more because there are some great opportunities in the market. And this is what I always say about the cryptocurrency space. I always, for myself, saying I'm not the best at doing little bits of research to find the next meme coin, to be a little bit degen and work out what's going in the markets, in the finer details, looking at those low cap coins. I always look at Bitcoin. I look at the top altcoins. I look at Ethereum. I look at how to trade them. I'm not the best at taking advantage of all these opportunities. It was like somebody said in the chat the other day, do you stake? No, I don't. I've done my research into that and chose not to, but I don't really spend enough time looking at all these smaller plays that can actually be really profitable. And that was my 2024 resolution. So I'm taking a look at the CSE Plus Discord with Web3 Spud is in there every day, taking a look at what's really going on. And I think it's really good to kind of have both points of view when you're coming into the market. So here on these live streams, we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news, we analyze Bitcoin, we analyze Ethereum, and we really take an informed approach on what's going on in those high cap coins. But there are people in the markets that are always looking at the low cap coins, seeing what opportunities are out there, seeing what the next big airdrop is, staying on top of the trends constantly. And that is a really good perspective as well. So this is why I always say, if you tune into these live streams every single day, you get my perspective. And if you join the CSE Plus Discord, you get the alternative perspective where you're constantly staying up to date with the trends, staying up to date with massive traders in there as well. We've got some really well-performing traders in the Discord, and you can stay up to date with what people are talking about, what all the hype is right now, what sectors are interesting right now, what the next airdrop is, and where we should be focusing our efforts. That's kind of where the Discord comes in to help you stay on the ball. The cryptocurrency space is absolutely huge, and you can't stay up to date on it all on your own. It's just impossible. There's so much going on all the time, especially in the bull market as well. When the bull market picks up, you literally don't know where to look because there's information coming at you from every single angle. So we're trying to make that easier for people by making these live streams where I kind of give this news approach, Bitcoin trading approach, staying up to date on the wider scale of what's going on with the high cap coins. And then we have the CSE Plus Discord where Jordan talks about his trades. All the really well-performing traders talk about what they're thinking about Bitcoin and Ethereum. But we're also talking about those opportunities where you can make a lot of money as well. So interesting to see all the different opinions there. And it's better to be in a community and feed from other people and learn from other people than trying to keep yourself up to date with all of these things on your own, because it just is not possible. There's so much news there. Let's take a look at what's going on in the chat here. James, in a meme coin, the money comes from somewhere. Normally it's you. Well, exactly. Some money's got to come in for it to come out. Let's see what's going on here. Jonathan says, how can we join the CSE Plus Discord? Jerome says, my brain is sometimes fit to burst. To join the CSE Plus Discord, all you need to do is go to the Crypto Saving Expert website. You'd think I'd be able to say the name by now, cryptosavingexpert.com. And then if you go to join CSE Plus, you can sign up with one of the plans down at the bottom here. So we've got our Community Plus plan and we've got our Community Premium plan. With both of these plans, you get access to the Community Discord. You get access to our calls with TMG every single week, our AMAs, and we have a early newsletter access and lots of other stuff there. So make sure to check that out. Also, nice to mention here, £25 CSE merch store gift card is included when you sign up for Community Plus there, and you can use that on our merch store. So if we go to the merch store at the top here, you can see we've got lots of products here ready to share. So make sure to check all of this out. I'm going to stop shilling a Crypto Saving Expert to you now and talk about what's going on in the news, because this is what we're here for. But make sure to check all of that information out. Raven Trading says, we have eyes on everything in the CSE Plus Discord. You really, really do. The CSE Plus community is very well informed on what's going on in crypto. So whether you're new to crypto or old in crypto, get involved and you will learn from each other. Building a really strong community is really important for us, and we've managed to really build a strong, healthy community right now. Let's see what's going on in the news, though. Let's go back to what's going on in the news, because we need to continue on with this, but please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so you don't miss the latest cryptocurrency news. I've pleaded with you all a lot today. Let's see what's going on here. Singapore issues crypto warning and promotes hardware wallet use. So the Singapore Police and Cybersecurity Agency have collaborated on a notice highlighting the increase in crypto wallet drainers. The Singapore Police and Cybersecurity Agency of Singapore have issued a joint notice of awareness to citizens expressing concern regarding the increasing use of crypto drainers. So they are saying, look, be incredibly careful. There are phishing attacks left, right, and center. You need to make sure you are storing your cryptocurrency correctly. We can say this everywhere, not just in Singapore. Be incredibly careful when it comes to crypto. Let's see what else is going on here. The most notable token unlocks in February. So let's talk about this. Essentially, what happens with tokens is not all of the tokens are released into circulation at once. Instead, we see slow releases over a set period of time. And this is so essentially not everybody people that invest in the pre-sale can't just dump all of their tokens into the market at once. It reduces the amount of immediate selling pressure in the market. So we are going to see the inflation of some huge tokens in February. And this is because those unlock periods have arrived. So what we're seeing here is SUI, a major token that's gained a huge amount of attention, has a circulating supply ratio, is going to have 34.62 million tokens unlocked on the 3rd of February. So this has a value of 52.96 million. This has a circulating supply ratio of just under 3%, but we are seeing some tokens with much higher percentages being released into circulation. For example, Cyber has 15% ratio there. So definitely something to be considering here. It's really important to look at the token unlock dates for tokens that you are holding, because tokens getting added into circulation changes the supply and demand dynamics. If the supply is dramatically increasing when the demand is the same, the price of the token is going to drop. So we need to be aware of these dates. We need to know how big it is compared to the circulating supply and whether it is going to have an effect on the markets. We do see tokens immediately having some sort of impact on this. Also, not just kind of supply and demand dynamics, but we also need to consider that these tokens may be going out to people that want to just dump them into the markets. People may be waiting for these tokens to sell so that they can go and invest in other things. It will be pre-sale investors that have held on for a set amount of time and they just want to get out to look at the next best thing. So there may be some selling pressure from those investors as well. So definitely something to consider. We've got Sand as well, which will have $94 million worth of tokens released. And we've got OP with $77 million worth of tokens released. So definitely something to be keeping an eye on there. Let's see what else is going on in the next cryptocurrency news. Jonathan says, I'll check out the Plus plan. Apparently, dot pumped the day it unlocked in January. It's not always a bearish event, but we need to be aware of how that works, what that means. The tokenomics are changing. It's not always bearish, but it is kind of seen as a bearish event because we're seeing the supply and demand dynamics change, and we're seeing the opportunity for early investors to sell and look at other opportunities. But let's see what else is going on here. Valkyrie's spot Bitcoin ETF as BitGo as a second custodian. So a lot of the ETF issuers have named Coinbase as their initial custodian, but they're looking to diversify that a little bit more clearly. Let's see what else is going on here. So Binance froze $4.2 million of XRP stolen in an attack on Ripple co-founder. So one of the Ripple co-founders actually had $112 million stolen, and Binance have managed to freeze $4.2 million worth of it, but there's still obviously a huge amount that has managed to unfortunately be held by the hackers so far. Really disappointing to see. I don't think this has any impact on Ripple in the long term, but obviously it's absolutely devastating. Imagine losing $112 million. It's unfathomable. But let's take a look at what's going on with the price of Bitcoin here quickly before we close off today's stream. That's all of the cryptocurrency news today. What we can see right now is Bitcoin has retested our super strong zone of support that is at $42,000 to $40,800, and we are now seeing if we can get a retest of this level of resistance up at $44,200. Right now we are seeing some sort of resistance here. We are seeing some sideways action here. As I've been saying, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see sideways action for the next couple of weeks. It is now the weekend, so we can't typically expect too much over the weekend. We may be in for some sideways action over the next couple of days, and we do need to be aware that that CME gap could be forming over the next couple of days as well. So we will be tuning in on Monday to discuss that and what that means for the start of next week. So make sure to tune in then. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button. That's all from me today. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back tomorrow with the latest cryptocurrency news. Thank you very much for watching, and